You can grow up in a home where nothing terrible happened and still carry a deep emptiness inside. No one screamed at you. No one hit you. No one left you on the street. On the surface, it might even look like a normal or good childhood. But something essential never happened. You were not truly seen. Your inner world was never really met. This is emotional neglect. And because it is so quiet, it often leaves quiet symptoms. There is no single dramatic event to point to. Instead, there is a lifelong feeling that something is missing without clear language for what it is. You might even feel guilty for struggling because others had it so much worse. So you minimize your own pain and keep going, silently hurting. Emotional neglect is not mainly about what was done to you. It is about what never happened, the conversations that never came, the comfort that never arrived, the curiosity about your feelings that no one expressed. Your caregivers may have provided food, shelter, education. They might even have been proud of your achievements. But your emotional reality stayed in the background, unnoticed. Maybe when you cried, you heard "stop making a fuss." When you were afraid, you heard "there is nothing to be afraid of." When you were angry, you were sent to your room until you calmed down. No one sat next to you and said, "Tell me what it feels like inside." Over time, your nervous system learned a silent rule. My feelings are too much, or not important, or both. One of the silent symptoms of emotional neglect is not really knowing what you feel. When someone asks, "How are you?" you automatically answer "fine" or "tired." But if you look deeper, you are not sure. You feel a vague heaviness, a background anxiety, a sense that something is off. But joy, sadness, fear, and anger blur together into one foggy state that is hard to name. Another symptom is constantly minimizing your experiences. You get hurt, but immediately tell yourself, "It is not that bad." You feel lonely, but say, "Other people have real problems." You are disappointed, but you push it away with, "I should not complain." You compare your pain to more obvious tragedies and conclude that you do not have the right to feel what you feel. So you disconnect even further from yourself. Emotional neglect also shows up as feeling empty or numb, especially in quiet moments. When life finally slows down, you might feel a strange inner blankness. You do not know what you like, what you want, or what truly moves you. You keep yourself busy with work, caretaking, or distraction because stillness makes the emptiness louder. You might call it boredom, but it is deeper than that. It is the echo of long-ignored needs. Relationships reveal these silent symptoms too. You might be very good at taking care of others, listening, helping, being the reliable one. But you rarely share your own struggles in the same way. You are comfortable being there for people, but uncomfortable letting people be there for you. A part of you believes no one would really understand, or that your needs are a burden. So you remain alone, even in connection. Sometimes, emotional neglect leads to chronic self-doubt. When you grow up without your feelings being mirrored back to you, you do not learn to trust your inner signals. As an adult, you second-guess your reactions. Was that really hurtful, or am I overreacting? Are my needs valid, or am I too sensitive? You may stay too long in wrong jobs, unhealthy friendships, or painful relationships because you do not trust your own discomfort. Another silent symptom is feeling undeserving of care unless you are performing or achieving. You might only feel worthy when you are productive, helpful, or successful. Rest feels guilty. Asking for support feels like asking for too much. Deep down, you learn that you get attention when you behave, achieve, or make life easier for others, not when you simply exist with needs and emotions. Spiritually, emotional neglect can create a sense of being abandoned by life itself. Even if you believe in something greater, you might feel cut off from it. Prayers feel one-sided. Meditation feels empty. You may carry a subtle belief that even the universe is not really interested in how you feel. Underneath, there is a question that never found words. Is there anyone, human or divine, who actually sees me? On a nervous system level, growing up emotionally alone can keep you in a low-level survival mode. If no one co-regulated your big feelings, your body had to handle them alone. As an adult, you might feel easily overwhelmed by emotions, or, the opposite, shut them down quickly. Either way, there was no safe other to help your system learn that feelings can rise and fall without destroying you. So your body treats emotions as threats or as noise to be ignored. Because emotional neglect is invisible, Many people tell themselves their childhood was fine. They might even defend their parents, saying they did their best, which might be true. But acknowledging their limitations does not mean blaming them forever. It means recognizing the impact of what you did not receive. Only then can you understand why you feel the way you do now and stop calling yourself broken or dramatic. Healing from emotional neglect begins with naming it. Simply recognizing no one really met my emotions growing up can be a profound shift. It reframes your emptiness, confusion, or self-erasure as a response to your environment, not as a personal defect. From there, you can start to notice your silent symptoms with more compassion instead of judgment. The question becomes, what did I need that I did not get? Instead of, what is wrong with me? The next step is learning to turn toward your inner world the way no one did for you. This starts small. You might pause once a day and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Not what you think about your day, but what you feel in your body. Tight chest, heavy stomach, restless hands. You begin to build an inner habit of noticing. You are slowly teaching your nervous system that your feelings matter now, even if they did not matter then. Over time, you can practice giving your emotions language. You can use simple words like sad, angry, scared, lonely, relieved, grateful. At first, it might feel awkward or fake, like you are pretending. That is normal. You are learning a skill you were never taught. Emotional literacy is not something you automatically have. It is something you can cultivate, gently, through repetition and curiosity. Connection with safe others is also part of healing. Emotional neglect teaches you to do everything alone. Healing invites you to experiment with letting a few trustworthy people see more of your inner world. This might be a therapist, a friend, a partner, or a support group. You do not have to expose everything at once. But each time you share honestly and are met with empathy, a small piece of the old loneliness begins to soften. Grief is another silent part of this process. You may need to grieve the childhood you did not have, the conversations that never happened, the comfort you had to live without. Grieving does not mean staying stuck in the past. It means finally honoring the truth of what you went through, so you do not keep unconsciously recreating the same emotional emptiness in your present. Grief clears space for new experiences of being seen. As you continue this work, you might notice how emotional neglect affects your daily choices. You may have avoided risks or dreams because deep down you felt unworthy of pursuing them. Or you might have overcommit to others to prove your value. Recognizing these patterns allows you to pause and ask, is this coming from the child who learned to hide, or from who I am now? This awareness creates freedom to choose differently. Another layer of healing involves reparenting yourself. This means offering the emotional presence you missed. When you feel dismissed or numb, imagine speaking to your younger self. I see how hard that was. Your feelings were real, and they mattered. This internal dialogue rewires the old belief that you are alone with your emotions. It builds a foundation of self-trust that extends to all areas of life. With time, the silent symptoms transform. The numbness gives way to subtle sensations of aliveness. Self-doubt quiets as you validate your own experiences. Relationships become more reciprocal because you know how to express needs without fear. Spiritually, you may feel a gentle opening, as if the universe starts to mirror back the attention you now give yourself. Healing is not linear, but it is possible. If you recognized yourself in this video, it does not mean you are doomed to feel numb or unseen forever. It means your nervous system and your heart adapted to an environment where your emotions were not held. That adaptation kept you going. Now, you have the chance to offer yourself something different. To become the one who notices, names, and cares for what you feel. Subscribe for more on emotional neglect, trauma, attachment, and nervous system healing. Like if you felt gently understood by this video. Share it with someone who says, my childhood was fine, but carries a quiet ache they cannot explain. You are not too much for having feelings. You are not selfish for needing to be seen. You are simply human. And it is not too late to learn how it feels to have your inner world finally matter. First to you, and then to the people who are capable of meeting you there.